Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of Maconomics. I'm your host, Ross Mack, and I'm here to try to help you get to the bag. We got a new caller. Talk to me what you get.
Hey, Ross, it's Lisa from Cleveland. Listen, I've been debating, percolating, and ovulating, thinking about my good old stocks and bonds. But I'm most worried about my portfolio. What's going to happen when the presidents change?
Man, that's the $1 million question, right? What's going to happen to the stock market if Biden wins versus if Trump wins? I think you can make a case that if Biden wins or Trump wins, there's a case that the market can go up and there's a case that the market can go down, right? I think one thing that's important, you have to also look at who's also going to win the entire Congress, right? Who's winning the House and the Senate, right? At the end of the day, I want you to also understand this, right? If you're a long-term investor, you don't really need to think about it too much, right? At the end of the day, we're looking at the stock market for the next 20, 30 years, right? Long-term investor, you're always going to win, right? But for the people that are trying to, manage it on a short-term basis, you have to ask yourself, okay, if Biden wins along with the Democratic sweep of Congress, then it's more than likely, Biden is going to roll back the Trump-era tax cuts. What does that mean? It's probably going to be bad for the market, right? So in the beginning, it's probably going to have a little volatility, right? Why? Understand that Trump had decrease corporate tax rates from 35% to 21%, right? Biden is trying to reverse that, right? If that is the case, there will be some volatility early on, right? Now ask yourself, okay, if Trump is to win, right? If Trump is to win, understand that he's probably going to continue his same agenda, which is kind of pro-America. He's going to be pro-business. He's going to continue to decrease regulation, continue to try to further cut taxes, right? And then you could also make the case that if Biden is to win, though, along with, a Democratic sweep, one thing that might actually be good for the markets is that he's going to provide more stimulus to Americans. And then there also might be some stability within kind of the all the China relations, right? There's a lot of stuff going on over there that Biden probably would come in and stabilize, right? So all in all, we really don't know. But one case that I will say is probably the worst for the market is if Trump is to lose, but he refuses to concede, right? Something like that happened in 2000, right? Where we saw Al Gore refuse to concede, where he was like, no, I demand a recount, something not right? Same thing could potentially happen, right? We already know Trump saying, I'm not going. These mail-in ballots, that's all fool. At the end of the day, he's saying that it's nothing but just scams, right? And so in the event that he does refuse to concede, the market is probably going to tank even far worse than if Biden is to win, right? At the end of the day, the stock market does not like uncertainty. And here, that is the most form of uncertainty, right? No telling what could happen if Trump says, I'm not leaving, I'm not conceding. Just to give you an idea, in 2000, I want to say, over the course of a month or so, the stock market, we saw the S&P down, I want to say about 10%, and the NASDAQ down about 20%. So to give you an idea, over the short term, if Trump is to refuse conceding, the market could go, negative. So in conclusion, at the end of the day, no one truly knows what's going to happen. But, one thing I'm going to say again, if you're a long-term investor, it's not really going to matter because over the long run, the market is always going up. Well, at least it's always done in the past, right? But if you're a person that's like, I think, Biden's actually going to win, one way you could actually protect your portfolio is probably buying up some protection. You know what I mean? You could, short the NASDAQ and the S&P. You could, buy some VIX, volatility index. You could buy some treasuries. And if you believe Biden is going to lose and Trump is going to get reelected, you go long the market. I hope that helps. Next caller, talk to me what you got.
Quick disclaimer, this your boy Ross Mack. I'm just trying to elevate and educate. Damn sure ain't trying to play A. So if you lose some money fucking around with me, it ain't my fault.